I accidentally cut this too short. So hi, I'm Bianca, and in this video I'll be showing you how I made a 1940s trench coat inspired by the movie Casablanca. So I wanted to make a trench for two reasons. The first reason, because trench coats are timeless no matter the decade. And number two, because of my measurements. The biceps are always way too tight. It's hard to close it over my chest. And when I bring my arms in like this, there's too much constriction across the back that I always feel like I'm gonna rip the sleeves off. Every jacket I try on always makes me feel like the Hulk.
And his frustration finally triggered. The Incredible Hulk is born.
Yes, that Hulk. It's to the point to where Jose hates that I go outside without a jacket on because I don't like wearing what I have. They just don't feel like me. So I'm excited to show you the journey because I think the trench came out really, really well. So let's talk about the plan. All right, we are ready to start. So, okay. I really want a traditional, straight up, like what you think of a traditional trench coat, that's what I want. So something that looks like it stepped right out of the Casablanca movie set and it just having the traditional color in the whole nine. So I found a pattern on Etsy. It'll start to appear here on the side, but I know that I'm going to do all my usual adjustments. I'm gonna have to do a full bust adjustment. I'm gonna have to shorten it all over the pattern. I'm gonna have to do a sway back, and then I'm also gonna have to fix the arms just to make sure that I don't have any like tightness in the pattern. Also, I went ahead and ordered a bunch of swatches, and I've gone ahead and actually ordered my favorite one, which is beautiful. It's exactly what I want in a trench coat. So the fabric's already here. I'm ready to get started and trace my pattern. All right, it's day 3. Okay, yeah, that was a stupid intro. So we have arrived at day 3 and I am making shoulder pads. Why am I making shoulder pads right now? Because I am about to start working on the fitting to make sure that the trench coat fits, and a vital component is having a well-fitted shoulder pad. So I'm gonna be making that first, and then I'll be starting to transition to the fitting. What do you eat? I am ready to make my first test version of this trench coat. It's usually a really good idea to make a test version to make sure how does it fit from the package, and then what adjustments do I need to do to make sure that it does fit. Luckily, I have my shoulder pads that I made yesterday, so hopefully not too many test versions. Hopefully I nail it on the first try. We'll see. So I've been sewing for something like 20 years. This and zippers is always where I question myself and whether or not I'm going crazy. Maybe this one. Wrong side, but then that needs to be the other one. It's gotta be. So I actually wasn't going crazy. There was a problem with the paper pattern itself. I just trying to slow in the sleeve, but the little notches that show you where the front and the back weren't right. And it wasn't until I went back to the pattern that I found where the problem had originally started. I ended up having to spend time double checking my tracing against the original to make sure that I didn't mess anything else like that. And it turns out that the original was the one that wasn't correct, but it happens sometimes. Okay, so I might have kind of sort of did something crazy. All right, so I'm gonna show you now. So I've cut slits in the back of this so that I can do this number. And now it's my turn to tell Jose what I did so he can measure that opening. Hey.
Hey.
I need your help with something.
What's up?
Can you take this? And can you measure the openings that I just cut into the back of my jacket? So let me But like the width this way.
Well, that's hard to say. Okay, say don't move. Don't move.
I'm not moving.
Okay. Yeah, exactly half an inch right here.
Does it get bigger than an inch, or is it always like a half an inch? I'm sorry.
I mean, depending on how you move, because you keep moving and then this.
Okay, so if I'm here, where is it at?
What is 3/4?
I think I'm gonna balance it out with half an inch because what it was.
Oh, you couldn't move?
I didn't have enough of that motion. Okay. Because I was making a jacket, I really wanted to try pad stitching, which is a technique that tends to be used more in tailoring and bespoke menswear. Essentially, it's hand sewing a canvas fabric to your fashion fabric in the way that we use interfacing and stabilizers today. So by hand sewing these two fabrics together, you can shape and mold the fabric. So you tend to see it a lot on the lapels of jackets and collars, and it was also part of the Dior bar suit from 1947. So definitely really fun to learn, but it does take a lot of practice. So this is my first sample, and it's not great, but it's not horrendous. Didn't do a good job in the back to make sure that it's not focusing. To make sure that I didn't show my thread. Probably gonna do a little bit more on this side just to practice it. We're gonna go ahead and start doing this on our actual trench coat. Y'all, it's finally time to start sewing the big pieces of the jacket because I've made a lot of stuff and I'm ready to go. I mean, look at this, my little under collar. It's so cute. Actually, there was a lot of hand sewing and a couple episodes of House of the Dragon, and cat is meowing, so I'll make this fast. But, oh gosh. Yuka! All right, let's try this again. I've made a collar that I hand sewed, and it took me a while to do all the pad stitching. It came out really well. I'm actually really impressed, but it did take a long time. The under part of the under collar does have these really tiny, oh my God, Yuka, por favor. A cute little tailor's ham with its collar that has been fully pad stitched, and it actually how are you doing this, Yuka? Oh my God. Oh my God, look at this little freaking collar. It looks so good. Holy cow, I did not expect it to look as good as it was gonna look. Doing those that pad stitching really actively made a difference, making it look very profesh. Yay! Okay everyone, this is the progress so far. It's looking pretty freaking cool. I'm really liking the sweep of the skirt. Also how much extra cozy space I have inside. Obviously ignore that I'm using a measuring tape for a waistband. The collar is looking real good. And then also you can kind of see what it's gonna look like with the shoulder pads when I add the sleeves in. Another mess up, and this one, I'm hoping it's not gonna be a problem. I hope I have enough fabric. All right, I'm a little concerned because I accidentally cut this too short. So I'm hoping I have enough fabric because, yeah, I don't have time to order more. I was distracted. Again, Don't be distracted when you're sewing. It's a terrible idea. And fingers crossed. Fingers crossed I have enough fabric. Okay, so I got way too convoluted, but here's a TLDR. So by cutting out that one piece wrong, I basically risked ruining the rest of the lining fabric. I had to figure out how to cut everything else out with what I had left. So at a glance, it didn't look like I was gonna make it, and I was really starting to panic. Okay, so here's the moment of truth. I'm on the last little bit of lining fabric that would be the optimal shape to cut out the sleeve lining. I haven't unrolled it yet. I'm a little bit scared. I am really hoping that the sleeve lining, like those are the last two pieces. I just need them to come out.
No, 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 no!
Okay, I think we might have a bigger win, and I just about cried tears of joy because the thing that got me in the first place is what is saving me now. So let me show you. What originally messed me up is that the front bodice piece has these kind of, or I'm sorry, I've started with the back, but. So I'm gonna go ahead and interrupt myself because I got way too technical and way too much into the sewing lingo. With vintage patterns, it's actually pretty common to use the same pattern piece for both the fashion fabric and the lining fabric. And you really have to pay attention to the markings on the pattern paper, which tells you which is which. If you're not paying attention, you can actually mistake their size and do what I did, which was cut the wrong size out of the wrong fabric, and that's actually what got me into the mess in the first place. But that's also kind of what saved me in the end. So by double checking the size, I had just enough to cut out the sleeve lining, and a major sewing patatús was averted. Woohoo! By this point, the rest of the trench coat was pretty straightforward. So I'd actually been working on this project for 17 days, and I was just done at this point. I finished the hand sewing the lining, and I had the buttons, and I made the belt strap and the belt loops, and I was ready to go. So let's check out the dramatic reveal. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's easily the best jacket I've ever made. It fits right in with a lot of the 50s and 40s styles that I really like, and it totally gives me the Casablanca vibes. And guess what? I feel like the Hulk when I wear it! All the fitting I did really paid off. The clothes is well over the front, it isn't too long, and the biceps fit super comfy. And as a bonus, when I flex, no more pulling across the back. I actually really feel like myself in it, and now it's starting to become the first thing that I pull out of the closet when I'm running out of the door here in SF. And yes, there are problems, but what project doesn't have problems? It's a really good reminder that a lot of them were because I wasn't paying attention, and that could have been easily avoided had I been paying attention. Also, the quality of the materials really matter with a piece like this, so if you're planning on making your own, I definitely recommend investing in some really nice gabardine fabric because it can really make that trench coat pop. If you really like this video, you're also really gonna like this one here, where I tried making a hat for the very first time. I bit off a little bit more than I could chew, but you're gonna have to see how it turned out. But with that, like, share, subscribe, all the places, all the stuff, and I'll catch you in that video right there.